episode 281.
I would say the technician shortage is a big trend that we all have to be paying attention to as well. Where are 20 years from now these vehicles as a service, where are they going to be serviced, and how do we make sure that we all remain relevant?
Welcome, Aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Welcome, Aftermarket professionals, to the largest library of audio content for personal and business insight. Carm Capriato here with the Remarkable Results Radio Podcast. Your learning curve never sounded so good. Hey, the podcast is supported by Federal Mogul Motor Parts. They are the reason you enjoy these great aftermarket interviews. Brands like Moog, Felpro, Wagner Brake, Anco, Champion, Seal Power, FP Diesel, and more. They're the parts techs trust. Find out more at fmmotorparts.com, and thanks for your support of these brands. You know, each year the Auto Care Association awards the Impact Award to 4 under 40 industry leaders. I got the privilege to sit with them at Apex 2017, and the interview is 1 minute away. A couple of new pages on the website. In fact, the site is becoming a very powerful place to hang out, a resource for the Aftermarket's only audio content library, and now a new events page and a page dedicated to all things Apex to include all interviews recorded there. Now, the events page features training events for both technicians and business owners that are open to all members of the industry. Find the training dates and links to their websites. Now, if you have an idea for a Town Hall Academy or know someone that needs to tell their story, just email me, carm@remarkableresults.biz. Hey, welcome new Facebook friends Pat Schwartz, Steve Dawson, and Jordan Matt, and to my new LinkedIn connections, Michael Gray, Daniel Mulkey, and Daniel Dempster. So glad to have you working the program with me. Find all social links at remarkableresults.biz/social. Hey, now meet the 2017 Auto Care Impact Award honorees. Sarah Shelstrom from Integrated Supply Network, Katina Wall from STP and Spectrum Brands, Kyle Byrne from the Merrill Company, and Chris Pacey from National Performance Warehouse. I met this team in San Francisco in September 2017 when they received this special honor. This under 40 group and Yang, Young Auto Care Network Group members, exemplifies the future of our industry. The award, for the Future, honors aftermarket professionals who have made a remarkable contribution within the auto care industry. Extended bios and the interviews talking points can be found at the show notes page, remarkableresults.biz/E281. We talk about the impact of technology, insights, recruiting talent into the industry, and the trends they see affecting the aftermarket, among others. Now enjoy a conversation with the 2017 Auto Care Impact Award honorees, Sarah Shelstrom, Katina Wall, Kyle Byrne, and Chris Pacey. We're here to talk about the Impact Awards from Auto Care this year. The 2017 winners, Chris Pacey from National Performance Warehouse, Sarah Shelstrom from Integrated Supply Network, ISN, and Katina Wall from STP and Spectrum Brands, STP. Wow, when I was a kid, I collected stickers. STP. I almost forgot about STP. And then Kyle Byrne from the Merrill Company. You're a WD with stores in Iowa.
Yes, sir.
And Chris, you're a WD. You have traditional parts?
Well, we do both traditional parts and performance. We're in actually 14 different locations throughout North America. So as headquarters down in Miami, Florida, that's actually where I reside. And we go all the way out to California, Texas, Rhode Island, Utah, Idaho, and Toronto, Canada.
You're all in Yang, the Young Auto Care Network Group. And I think it is one of the most important organizations inside of auto care. It's almost a reflection on where the industry is heading. What I am so curious about, and I would love to get into a little background into each of your jobs and the companies a little bit more, but let's talk about the job opportunities that exist in the auto care industry. None of you turn wrenches, but you're so involved in the industry, and you impact the parts that people buy, the marketing that people see, the relationships that are held in the bays. So when you get a chance to get out there and talk to recruits that you're hiring, tell me a little bit about, and I want anyone to chime in first, and then we'll start our open discussion. What are you seeing in people that want to join our industry? Let me ask you, Katina.
Sure. So my role in the industry, I think, is a little bit different. I think we all have distinct roles. I market to the end consumer, so the DIYer that's actually the one turning the wrenches. And I work on the STP brand, which, like you were saying, Carm, is an iconic brand with a tremendous amount of history. So I think when we look at new recruits for our industry, it's people who may not be turning the wrenches themselves, but they're passionate about the industry, they're passionate about their jobs, and they want an opportunity to have an impact on the industry. And I think when we take a look at the automotive aftermarket, I think you don't find many industries quite like this, where everyone, no matter if you're a competitor or supplier or a buyer, everyone's just lifting each other up and supporting one another. And I think all of our companies operate in such a lean way that you get exposure to so many different aspects of the industry and the business. And I think that that's, something I know the people on my team and me in particular really enjoy about the job, is that you get exposure to all of these different aspects of the business that maybe if you were working in another industry, a larger industry, pharmaceuticals, technology, you wouldn't have the exposure that we get here in the automotive aftermarket, to have just this broad range of knowledge and get to work on such, iconic brands, like brands that have been around for over 100 years.
Is your background automotive or not?
I've been in the automotive aftermarket for 15 years.
Okay.
I started as an intern on Autolite spark plugs.
And that intern came from a college course?
Yeah, it was. I was home for the summer. I needed to get a few more college credits, and the business was looking for an intern, and it was a couple of miles from my house.
And wait a minute, and the industry reeled you in?
It reeled me in. I really enjoyed my internship, but when I graduated, I thought that maybe I wanted to go into something a little bit different. So I took another job in a financial service industry, and it didn't compare to the type of exposure that I got in automotive.
But what's the buzz? What do you love about our industry?
Well, the people, first and foremost. I have to say, I think that's kept me here for as long as it has. I've had the opportunity to work for great leadership teams, and I think a lot of people feel the same way.
But you know that there's probably no end to where you could go in the industry.
Correct. Yeah, correct. I think that you are in charge of your own destiny in this, in the role in this industry, and you can have as much of an impact on the industry as you are motivated to have. So,
thank you so much, Chris. You have a national footprint.
Yes.
Any problems finding people?
Well, people. It's funny because Kyle and I were talking about this yesterday. I mean, to Katina's point, is this industry it's a blast. I mean, I enjoy it. I think we all enjoy it, and it's all about the people. And I think a lot of times people outside of the industry or the next generation don't see that. And it's hard to get them to understand how much fun it really is until you experience it, and the relationships. And you don't see people leaving the industry. I mean, they may wear different hats, but they're always in the industry. So for me, it's always a challenge to try to find the right fit, the right person to bring them in. So to your question, yes, it is difficult. But then once you get them in and they can understand how great the industry is, they never leave. But it's hard getting them in. So that's a challenge we run up against every day, and we try to do the best we can to find the right fit. But sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds.
So I think about Yang, the Young Auto Care Network Group, Sarah, and I think about the mentoring program that they have. Are you involved in that?
To some degree, yes. I am also part of the Women in Auto Care, which also has a mentor program, and I would say I'm more involved in the Women in Auto Care mentoring program. But we were very open with a lot of the resources and things that we're using for the program with Yang to help them get up and get started with it. And I think it's a huge opportunity. Yang in general is meant for the young population coming into our market and helping them to be successful at it, find ways to partner up with others that might be more seasoned in the industry to help, find, as Chris said, it's the people. And as you make those connections in that network and you find these great people, it helps you to grow, B, keeps you connected into the industry, and then, gives you the opportunity to advance into the next positions, whether it's through a mentorship program, different leadership classes and training that Yang puts together. So yeah, I think while I don't have direct impact on the Yang mentor program, being part of the Women in Auto Care mentor program has been very helpful.
Well, tell me about that. Have you either been mentored or have you been a mentor or mentee?
So yes, when I started with Women in Auto Care, I had a mentor, and I've been in the industry now 14 years, and now I've grown into becoming a mentor for others. And during the process, what we found was even if you're a mentor or mentee, you really find yourself working with the other person. Sometimes you're learning from them as much as they're learning from you. Whether it's, a younger person coming in with technology and social media or other, aspects that you are then learning from. And Bill Hanvey, he mentioned that yesterday in the AWDA meeting. He was talking about, I learned just as much from all of those that I'm working with as much as I can teach them all the things I know. So very beneficial programs.
So good to hear. Now, Integrated Supply Network, ISN, is a tool and equipment distributor.
Yes.
How close are you to the technicians and the shop owners?
Interestingly, because we're a two-step distribution channel, we're pretty far removed, but everything that we do absolutely goes back to the person that's turning the wrenches. So we need to make sure that we're stocking the right tools and equipment based on the new technology you're going to see in the vehicles coming out that'll eventually hit the repair shops.
So Kyle, Vice President of Distribution at the Merrill Company. So you're WD with stores?
Correct.
Wow. You've been in the business your whole life?
For the last 16 years, yeah. Since high school, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your whole life. Are you a member of the family?
No. We are. We're not family owned any longer.
Okay.
But we are a partnership. We are partner owned. So employees have can have a vested interest in the company.
So you are a partner?
Yes, sir.
What's the big challenges today in our industry?
Like we've already discussed, the challenge is finding people and getting people to understand the value of our industry. It seems as though individuals are looking for have very high hopes coming out of college, and the automotive industry is not as glorifying as maybe some people hope to get involved with. So,
but are the high hopes because of the high debt?
That could be. But there's a lot of opportunities in the automotive industry that people don't understand. So we need to expose them to those opportunities.
So how are we going to do that?
Through groups like Yang, and any other automotive industry group that we have going on, educating young people, getting out to colleges, trade schools, community colleges, and just making sure that we're exposing people to the opportunity that they can have within the automotive industry.
The service professional, do they ever talk to you about the tech shortage?
Quite often, yes. When I was at the store, it was more so then. I'm a little bit removed from that right now, but when a shop was hiring, it seemed as though they were looking for a very long time. And I don't think it's because their expectations were too high. They just could not find qualified candidates.
So let me put a general question out to everyone. The new technology that is existing not only in e-commerce, but in the vehicles we drive today, do you see that as an impact on the jobs that you do? Are you paying attention? Are you going to school? Are you reading a lot so that you can stay current?
Absolutely. I think if you're not keeping up with technology nowadays, you're going to get left behind. You won't be around, and it's that plain and simple. The companies that adjust, and I feel our company's done a really good job of being able to adjust with the times. There's good future possibilities.
But how so, Chris? How are you adjusting?
Well, just the technology side, doing business different. Obviously, bringing companies like the big A, Amazon. I mean, there's no doubt about Amazon affecting all industries and our industry as well.
The big elephant in the room.
The big elephant in the room, yeah. But they are who they are, and you have to figure out a way to play in that space because the space has changed. And technology-wise, you got to be able to adapt to the changes.
Know why you install Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust? Every part that goes into a Felpro box is validated and approved by a Felpro engineer. Product testing and validation is an integral part of Felpro's engineering, manufacturing, and field testing, where vehicles undergo tests that log over 1 million miles every year. They also reach out to you, the pro, through technology blogs and their technical forums to listen, learn, and keep in touch with you. It's amazing to think that Felpro produces over 325,000 gaskets per day. That's 325,000 per day in their 1 million square foot facility in Skokie, Illinois. Under the same roof, engineering and manufacturing uphold Felpro quality, utilizing 4,500 active production tools with tooling tolerances to 5 microns. Now that's smaller than a human hair. A tight tolerance like that ensures the sealing ability of Felpro gaskets. And their own in-house chem lab develops proprietary formulations like PermaDry Plus to produce 35,000 molded rubber sealing components every day. Plus, with Felpro, you get coverage from 1955 of 96% of all domestics and 93% of all import vehicles. So feel confident that with new engines and new technologies, Felpro will be there with innovative solutions to solve your customers' sealing problems. Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust. Go to felpro-only.com for more information. Brake jobs are a staple component of all successful shops, and getting the brake job right helps build a quality reputation for any shop. When the best is called for and stopping distance, rotor wear, and pad life are important to every shop and its customers, Wagner OEX brake pads are your only choice. Based on benchmark testing conducted by Link Engineering Company, Wagner OEX pads can stop a pickup, SUV or CUV, up to 50 feet sooner. Based on internal testing comparing new Wagner OEX to other Wagner offerings, the unique design of Wagner OEX increases pad life up to 2 times longer. The customized shape and slot design of each of the more than 114 SKUs creates a turbulent airflow that allows for cooler operation and improved stopping power for the vehicle on which it was designed. Wagner OEX cover 95% of the U.S. market of pickups, SUVs, and CUVs. Wagner has the science behind stopping perfected. They conduct 13,000 critical tests each year, and as of today, have 258 issued patents with 68 patents pending. Wagner has earned their stripes. Now they want to earn yours. Install Wagner OEX, the customized brake pad that can stop your customer's truck up to 50 feet sooner. Although I know I want you all to answer this, sometimes I chase these ideas that come into my head, and you just gave me one. Transparent pricing. That's becoming a big issue today. Whatever STP sells for, or retail or wholesale, there's no secrets. Same with parts margins and prices. How are you looking at that?
Well, you definitely look at it different. I mean, the way you used to structure pricing versus the way you do now, it's different. It's a different space, a different arena, and you're competing against not just internal distributors. You're competing with e-commerce, and it's a whole different space.
Well, and you have to work with your suppliers to hold them to a higher standard to try to ensure that you can compete with Amazon. It's important to stress that emphasis to suppliers that if they're selling direct to Amazon and Amazon is undercutting every other distributor in the market, that's not fair to those of us that have had relationships for years and decades.
And so the struggle goes that the consumer can find that and see that. That's right. Yeah. Chris is just opening it up on the phone, showing me what I could buy a ball joint for on Amazon. And so there's been discussion on the show from service professionals that they feel they have to change how they sell their products. It's almost like cost plus 10% so that it is as transparent as possible and adjust their labor. They still have to make X amount of dollars. Have you heard that? Have you seen that? Have you heard any trends about that, Kyle?
Not particularly. I've been in this role for less than a year now, so I haven't quite got involved with that as much as I probably will. But I think there's some change coming with how things are done in the future. And it's important that we all have an online presence as well. As a distributor, we have to have our own e-commerce and make it as user friendly to the end user and to the professional technicians.
Are you spending a lot of money to do that?
You're going to have to spend money, yeah.
I think on STP, we market directly to the end consumer, right? So we're investing a lot in e-commerce, definitely, but we're also balancing that with more support for our bricks and mortar companies, our partners, right, customers too, because really that's still, at the end of the day, that's still our bread and butter, even though the industry is moving more towards e-commerce.
Thank you, Katina. I had that technology question. Do you have any response?
Yeah, I think it provides an opportunity. There's always opportunity to make our products relevant, right? And on STP, it's an iconic brand with a ton of history, but we don't want to be seen as, your grandfather's fuel additive or oil additive. We want to make sure that consumers still believe that they need oil additives and fuel additives to keep their investments running in top form. And I think with the changing technology in automobiles now, start-stop technology and synthetic motor oils and everything that's happening provides an opportunity for us to add value. So and the way that we do that is regularly we're meeting with expert panels with service providers and mechanics and seeing the trends that they're seeing in the marketplace, and then adjusting the technology in our bottles, adjusting the messaging to our consumer to make sure that we're staying on the forefront and making sure that our products are still relevant with today's consumers.
Sarah, technology, are you leveraging it?
Absolutely. As technology advances in the vehicles, as Katina was saying, it creates more opportunity for all of us at the supplier level to be developing new tools, new products, new oils, new parts for this new vehicle. So it does keep us relevant, and it shows those that are considering joining the automotive industry. With the way technology is giving us these opportunities, there's no end in sight. There's a lot of great opportunities still to come to be able to join this industry, have an impact, make a difference, and be a part of something that's really cool. I think the autonomous vehicles has been something that it's fun to read about. It's exciting. We were talking a little earlier, Carm, before we started. I said, anyone that's considering joining the automotive aftermarket, technology that's coming into the vehicles, no longer do you just have to be maybe seen as what was, the greasy hands type of mechanic. You're going to have to be very tech savvy. You're going to have to understand computers. The amount of computer parts that are now in your vehicle that help you, drive hands-free and have your blind spot detection, all those things. Now it makes it a more tech savvy, which, could be very attractive for some of those that are looking at the tech, heading down a technology path or career. So I think that's a great opportunity for us in this industry. And then I also think, for us on the tool side, ultimately it's been a great opportunity to just develop new tools and come out with things that are going to help, solve problems in these new vehicles when they start hitting the bays.
I am so curious because I love tools. So you're a tool distributor.
Yes.
Anybody ever come to you with an idea and you guys figure out how to put it in production?
So as a distributor, typically not. We do also have a couple of private brands, though, that we work on and put out into the market, so that makes us a tool supplier as well. I do know a lot of the tool suppliers that we work with and distribute the products for. Technicians come to them on a regular basis. They actually even, I used to work for Professional Tool and Equipment News magazine, and we would get classified ads in the back of the book from these tool suppliers asking technicians if you've got an idea, because the number of things that they rig up. I mean, I know my husband's in the construction industry, and the things he could rig up, and he always wished he had a tool for this. Same thing happens in automotive. They're taking a wrench and hitting it with a hammer. Well, what if we now develop a wrench that has a rubber, end, so that when you smack it with the wrench, you're not damaging your tool.
A wrench hammer. I love it.
Right.
I'll take one.
Right.
Lyle was a company that I think always went out and asked for ideas. Do they still do that?
They do. And they're known for specialty tools, yeah. So it is their job to help develop those solutions for the technicians.
So tell me about the show. You guys do much business here? Is it you just want to meet and greet? What's going on?
Well, for our company, we do quite a bit of business. We have obviously a lot of vendors that are here, and we have negotiate different programs and get updates on new products. With our company, we're actually participating in 2 different shows. So we go back from SEMA and Apex, and that's a unique.
Boy, you've got to be so busy.
Oh yeah, a lot of walking. But yeah, it's a great forum for us to exchange different ideas, and through all the different conferences within this week, it's it's a very positive environment for our company, and we even have several customers that come out, and we get to spend some time with our customers as well. So for us, it's very educational. We really enjoy it. We get a lot out of it this week.
Building relationships, doing deals, meeting new people. What about you, Sarah?
Same. There's a lot of networking and meetings that'll go on with different suppliers that we work with in the industry, the tool and equipment suppliers, as well as checking out what's new. What are some of the new tools and equipment coming? We're a very unique company. We've acquired several different brands throughout the last couple of years. So we do actually have 2 booths over at SEMA, one for Atlas equipment, and then another one for Hoffman USA, Hoffman Megaplan USA, excuse me. Both over at SEMA. So back to the walking lots of the shows, both Apex and SEMA. We'll do a lot of walking at Apex and talking to tool and equipment suppliers, and then we'll do the same over at SEMA, as well as we've got booths.
Isn't it amazing? I talking to people, and I'm going to Las Vegas next week. Are you going to SEMA?
Oh, yeah.
And I say, actually, I'm going to be hanging out at Apex. What's that? Right?
Yeah, SEMA has the bells and whistles, and the cars, the glitz, the glamour. So it's the fun show.
I was going to say, they get a lot of TV press.
A ton
from
of
that
press.
Because
all the stars go out there and the signings. And for the first time, I saw SEMA last year, and my mouth dropped, and I realized someone said you can't go to SEMA and spend a day. Now you could maybe do that. Maybe you could do Apex in a day, but really you need, say, a good 3 days if you're on this side of the industry to do Apex. 150,000 people here in Las Vegas. What an incredible industry event on both sides of the street here. Katina, so let me tell you the story. So when I was a kid, I had these STP stickers that held my bike together and they held my go-kart together, and I was only about yo tall. Boy, I think we were even trading and selling them when we were kids. And I haven't seen an STP sticker in years.
Well, Carm, I have a present for you.
Oh, no.
I just happen to have some STP stickers here with me today. So
my day.
As much as things change,
oh, they still are here.
They still stay the same. These are well sought after.
Maybe I should stick them on my laptop now, not my bike. Here, you need to have one. Here, she gave me a bunch of them. This is great. And I'm going to be a grandpa, so maybe you never know, right?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Excited about that. So what is your main focus here now? You're probably not at Apex. Are you at SEMA?
No, we are at Apex.
Oh,
so
that's
we are not at SEMA. So we display STP as part of Spectrum Brands Global Auto Care. So we share a booth with Armor All and AC Pro, and we display all of our new products here. We have similar story to Sarah and Chris. We have supplier meetings set up, we have customer meetings set up, and it's really a debut for all of our innovation that's going to be launching in 2018.
My generation thinks of STP as the can of oil treatment. Do you still have that? You don't have that.
We don't sell it in a can anymore. It's the same great formula, but it's bottled now.
But you still sell it.
We still sell a lot of it, yeah.
And the reason you won the Impact Award is you had this incredible 3% brand growth, and you won a Silver Effie Award.
A Silver Effie Award. So in the past, STP has had such a strong relationship with Richard Petty and has relied on its investment in the sport of NASCAR really to help build the brand, right? So about 4 years ago, after Clorox owned STP, really wasn't investing from a marketing perspective. And then when Clorox divested STP and we were private equity, our leadership team really understood the importance of reinvesting in the STP brand and giving it the exposure that it needed to survive. And we went back on TV with a robust advertising campaign, multifaceted marketing program, and we actually grew our share quite a bit that year. And were able to sort of stabilize the business and get it headed into the right direction. So, and now we're here 4 years later, and innovation has been at the core of our success. So, and that's what we're here debuting this week.
Great to know about that. You know, to take a brand that's been around for, I don't know, 50 plus years. How many do you know?
So actually, it's 70 now.
70.
Yeah.
Kyle, you're here because you, in your Impact Award, you were instrumental in creation of and the development of your parts distribution story. I love it. Tell me about it.
Well, you know, I may have mentioned, I've been in the distribution role for almost a year now. And when I first moved into this new role, I saw a lot of hard work and a lot of responsibilities that the folks in our distribution center were taking on that hadn't been exposed to everyone in our company yet. And I felt it was important that we expose everyone in the company to what happens behind the scenes, that it's more than just opening your doors and finding a pallet of parts in your back room at your retail store. We wanted to make sure everybody understood all of the hard work that went into a 10-hour day of compiling that order, loading a truck, and getting it on the road, whether it's rain, sleet, snow. Northwest Iowa has some not so favorable conditions when you have a fleet of trucks that travel through the night to deliver to 64 locations. So I thought it was very important that we expose that to everyone.
Everybody has a story. Everything almost has a story. Like, as you say, what does it take to really get the part from the manufacturer to the warehouse to in the truck? Oh, by the way, it has to pass through these electronic things that have to order it, and wow, and all the people that touch it. Did it really help your people improve your culture, bring the team tighter together? I
believe it did. I believe it did on both sides, both at the receiving end of that order and at the picking side of the order as well. The folks that are compiling the orders understand how important their role is now, and the folks that receive those orders appreciate the people that are working hard to make sure they get the right part the first time and have it in their store the next morning.
When I interview service professionals, one of the trending strategies is insights. And it's the customer can find out anything they want on the smartphone about a repair, but they want insights from their service professional as to why, and in many cases how. And the successful service professionals are telling people and giving them these insights. So I just give you high fives on the fact that you felt so strongly about saying, we all work so hard, no one really knows what all the different levels do. Have you ever done something like that in your company?
Yeah, for us, what it is really trying, and I think that goes hand in hand with training. I mean, it's telling that story of where we want to go as a company, what our level of expectations are, and making sure they understand that when you get new people come in, understand that from day one. Because if we have the same culture, we have the same goals, we can obviously accomplish a lot more. And that's been one of our reasons for our success and why we've been able to grow so much over the years is day one, getting new people, when we do acquisitions, getting the new companies on board with the same culture, same ideas, same goals. And that really has been a big part of our success.
Thank you for that. So let's just go around the room. Trends. What do you see in your world, in your environment, in your area of influence, trends that are happening that will affect your business?
I'll take that one first, I guess. Our company's been around since 1927, so we're creeping up on 100 years. So we've seen a lot of trends. And we're fortunate enough to be affiliated with the Auto Value Alliance. So Auto Value, and Chris is a member as well, that helps us stay up to date with everything that's going on outside of our market. We're in the Midwest, Iowa and surrounding states. So what's happening in California and East Coast, West Coast, down in Florida, may not be directly affecting us in the Midwest, but it gives us an opportunity to talk to our partners in the Alliance and find out what they're working on in order to prepare for those trends by the time they get to us. Specific trends, it's the technology is what we're all focusing on right now. And that's what we have to prepare ourselves for the future. But it's through the relationships with other Alliance members and through our suppliers that we can pinpoint the trends that are transpiring across the United States, across the world, so that we can plan for that and then be prepared when they infiltrate our market.
So you could be a 64 unit store group and have the influence of Auto Value, the Alliance, and the membership. And it takes you to a level of insights, I guess, that you could have never had before.
Absolutely. And like the partnerships with our vendors and our suppliers as well. It's not just the Alliance, it's everyone that we work with. And we have the utmost respect for, all all of our suppliers, all of our vendors, and we feel it's extremely important to have strong relationships with all of those folks.
Thank you, Kyle. You're to my right. I'll go to my next right. Katina?
Sure. So we talked about e-commerce and we talked about vehicle technology, but some of the trends that we've been most interested in is the aging vehicle population. Right. So the average age of a vehicle on the road is almost 12 years old now. And, we used to consider high mileage 75,000 miles, but that's low mileage in today's terms, right? So, and then you're also seeing new vehicle sale growth as well. So there's it shows us that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for aftermarket sales. Definitely with the aging vehicle population and new vehicle sales. So I think that's a trend that we feel encouraged by.
Has Spectrum Brands thought out that next 20 years and said, they say there's going to be a lot less vehicles on the road because of transportation as a service, because of autonomy? Do you how are we all going to adjust? Maybe a podcast for the future someday.
Yeah, I think that there's always going to be opportunity. So for innovation, right?
That's why you're vehicles. A marketer.
Yes.
Your favorite word is opportunity.
Opportunity,
yes.
and innovation. So it's important that we continue to keep the brand relevant, that we stay on top of the trends, and that we also look for other opportunities where we can extend our brand into other areas that might be a similar consumer profile, but not necessarily the automotive space.
Great, thank you so much, Sarah.
I think we touched on the major trends that impact our business. Looking at technology, both of the vehicle and e-commerce, those are things that directly impact everything that we're working on. You're right with the age of the vehicles. Those are trends that we're always looking at. And then I would say the technician shortage is a big trend that we all have to be paying attention to as well. Where are 20 years from now these vehicles as a service? Where are they going to be serviced, and how do we make sure that we all remain relevant?
It is such an exciting topic, and I don't think there's any real answer. I heard this thing on the airplane coming the other day talking about autonomy and ride sharing, public transportation, and then I heard about the Guardian mode. And for the first time ever, I've never heard about the Guardian mode. And that is that you're really driving the car, but the whole autonomy thing is riding almost as your passenger. And for the reason is that you may be tired, distracted, or drunk. And they have this thing called Guardian that I don't know if they're talking about, if it exists today, but the biggest problem in the tech barriers to autonomy is the prediction. It's the hardest thing to do, is to predict what's going to happen with the other vehicle, especially if you don't have V2V working yet. And the perception and the planning of all that software and all of those decisions that are being made. And, to me, that was one of the most succinct little summaries of where we're going with autonomy, because everybody talks about autonomy. I'm going to sit in the back of the car and I'm going to work as my car takes me to work.
Yep. I think it's like you said, a whole nother podcast, but it's exciting. Those are the things that get, I think, all of us excited about the roles that we're in, whether it's marketing and, parts, sales, tools. That is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to tackle that over the next 20 years. I'm looking forward to being a part of it.
And those cars are going to need parts, and those parts are probably going to cost more money. And we just all reinvent and figure out a way to keep it going. And a lot of people come to me knowing that I'm in the automotive and say, well, what are you going to do when we go these autonomous vehicles? What's going to happen? And hybrids and gas and all that kinds of stuff. No, vehicles with no gas. And all I tell them is, no problem. When it comes, and we'll adjust. And you do what you have to do, because at the end of the day, parts are parts. And, if a $5 part now becomes a $50 part, then I think it's better for all of us.
There's no doubt that I don't believe the aftermarket's going anywhere. It may take on a different shape and a different form. It may go to market differently. But cars are going to need parts. Refrigerators need parts. And you don't love your refrigerator as much as you love your car. And you got to keep it fixed.
I asked some of our more senior members of our company what their concerns were 20 years ago, with the data sharing and who owns the data in your vehicle and right to repair act type things. With concerns about that, I asked some of the folks that I work with, so what were you concerned about 20 years ago? They said 20 years ago, they told us that we couldn't, technicians couldn't work on fuel injection, that was going to change the industry. Well, I think we all know that it really hasn't changed the industry negatively for us. It's like Chris said, there's always going to be parts to sell.
Every major technological change doomed and gloomed our industry. And if you look back in the last 50 years, it hasn't. And it won't. And the new technology will not. Anything else on trends?
Trends, I think, in our as a distributor, where I see the trends going is more into data. Data just being so prevalent, and I know myself and with our company, we challenge our vendor partners to get better with data, because at the end of the day, the data is data, and data doesn't lie. And I think the companies that can find a way to move that data around and be able to supply us with that data. It's not just, hey, we think you guys should put these product lines in, or we think this is going to work. No, here's the data to prove that in these marketplaces this will work. And with the technology, it's just we're unlimited with the amount of data that's out there right now that we have access to, and it's just trying to format that so that all of us can use that data as best as possible.
Yeah, and that data that exists on the cars, in the cloud, as far as anticipating parts into the field, I think you're so right. Absolutely, Chris. Well, look at thank you so much, Chris Pacey from National Performance Warehouse, NPW, Sarah Shelstrom from Integrated Supply Network, ISN, and my STP sticker connection, Katina Wall, STP and Spectrum Brands, and Kyle Byrne from the Merrill Company. Thanks for being the first here at Apex 2017 and putting up with all the great noise we've had.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Sarah, Katina, Kyle, and Chris. Great insights. And thanks for spending some time with me at Apex 2017. Congratulations on this great honor. Hey, find the talking points and a synopsis of their award at remarkableresults.biz/E281. And thank you for listening on your favorite podcast subscription services. And you can also listen on the website. And if you're listening on the Remarkable Results Radio app, you appreciate the great features built into the app. Don't forget, listen hard, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,